Greetings, film freaks. We are the Podcorn Kernels. Join us as we discuss the hard and often indigestible truths that are at the center of the fluffy and delicious world of cinema. Season 2.
What's poppin', people? Welcome to the Podcorn Kernels podcast. My name is Adam, and joining me in your earholes is Harry. Say hello, Harry.
Imagine me across from you now with a blonde isometric bob and a silk blouse. Striking, no?
On today's episode, we will be talking about The Iron Claw. This is a 2023 film directed by Sean Durkin and stars Zac Efron, Jeremy Allen White, and Harris Dickinson. IMDb describes the synopsis as follows: the true story of the inseparable Von Erich brothers who made history in the intensely competitive world of professional wrestling in the early 1980s. Here is an original song to support the synopsis. It's not real wrestling, it is staged. It's not competitive, it is a game.
I ain't saying that there ain't no risk. I understand if you jump you can fall. I'm aware it's impressive, but if you lose it was for fault. I know you think he was helping you, doing what's best for his sons. Truth is he used you all to get what he couldn't get at all.
It's not real wrestling, it is staged. It's not competitive, it is a game. Let's start with some facts about the film. When Zac Efron's character, Kevin, confronts his mother about Fritz being too hard on Mike, he appears to be just as big as the doorway he's standing in. In real life, Kevin stood well over 6 feet, while Efron stands at 5'8". It appears he is either standing on something or the doorway was made smaller.
Oh.
Now that's pissed me off straight away.
Because they don't confirm or deny.
Well, and it's not consistent. Zac Efron isn't known for his height. He is quite a short hunk of a man, but he is not wealthy in inches.
No, but there's always been rumours, isn't there? There's rumours that they dug a trench for Nicole Kidman to walk in so Cruise could be shoulder level with.
That's true.
Is it?
That's fact.
No wonder he's one of the greatest stuntmen on earth then, because to watch a crew dig a trench to make him taller is the most emasculating shit on earth. There's nothing wrong with being small.
No, not at all.
No, some of the most fieriest little, toughest little cunts I know are small.
Yeah, and some of the smallest men have the biggest egos.
I thought you were going to say salamis.
But for me, in a film where you know the actor isn't 6'2", why highlight that the character he's playing is 6'2"? Like, you didn't have to do that. You could have left the information about the character he's playing out.
I think the real life people they're playing were given a generous helping of height.
Yeah.
So maybe it's it wouldn't look right if all you saw was his forehead walk into a scene. Everyone would be like, get that toddler a nappy.
But, I mean, you're not wrong. But if we're meant to believe that Zac Efron is 6'2", that puts Harris Dickinson at like 6'8", because he's head and shoulders above Zac Efron.
Yeah, he's crouching merchanting.
And that puts his wife, Lily James, at also 6'2", because they're the same height. And there is not a place on this earth where that woman is 6'2".
Can I put my hand up?
You can.
Is this one of your dislikes?
It's my main fucking dislike, I'm going to be honest. I've pretty much shown all my cards early doors.
If you wouldn't have read the fact, would it ever have been apparent to you?
Yes, because in the film, when he's coming to fight, it says his name and it says 6'2" and his weight. Straight away, I was like, well, he's not 6'2".
No.
He's clearly not 6'2". And fair play, in that scene where he's in the doorway, they've either stumped the doorway or he's standing on a yellow pages because he does fill that doorway. But then I know that he is not a tall man. 6'2", that's basically your height, isn't it? You're 6'2", 6'3", yeah.
6'2".
You're a tall man.
After dark. He looks like a character from Minecraft.
He does, yeah. He's got that square face. And
everything's square.
Yeah, that bowl job. And his jaw situation. We've spoken about it on the podcast before. He slid in his socks and cracked it on a water feature or something.
Oh, that is not a cool way to go out.
It's not.
Slipped in my socks. Was he recreating the film from the famous Tom Cruise, sliding in his socks and underwear?
I like to think that every actor of a certain height has to do that ritual. So I like to think that he's followed the cruise and done that, and that's how he cracked his jaw.
Yeah.
But isn't it mad that by accident he's got a jaw like that, and then other people will spend tens of thousands of pounds to have their jaw looked like a jaw that's a result of cracking it on a water feature?
David Coulthard.
Yeah. Fritz asks Kerry about a wrestler by the name of Hellwig. He is referring to Jim Hellwig, better known as the Ultimate Warrior, who later legally changed his name to just Warrior.
I know not.
What would you change your name to if you had to change it to one word?
Pumpernickel.
Solid.
Yeah.
Solid. Pumpernickel.
Rich, healthy. For some reason, we affiliate it with Halloween. I like to scare people.
And with a name like Pumpernickel, you can be full-blown villain or the sweetest sweetheart ever.
And what's a villain in wrestling called? A heel. A heel.
And a heel of pumpernickel bread. It's quite tasty.
Pumpernickel. I am the greatest threat to middle-class people. I am pumpernickel. No, I'm the greatest threat to lower-class people. I am pumpernickel. I shop at Whole Foods and I wrestle you down with high tax.
The silent killer. Pumpernickel. The Von Erich family signature move, the claw, is used in the film Liar Liar as a father-son bonding experience between Fletcher, Jim Carrey, and Max, Justin Cooper, multiple times. The actress, Maura Tierney, who plays the Von Erich matriarch, played Max's mum and Fletcher's ex-wife in Liar Liar.
She did. I knew she was in Liar Liar. I did not
Yeah.
pick up. I thought the claw was just like the hand in Adam's Family. I thought it was that related. I didn't know it was related to this. That's a wicked, wicked fact.
Isn't it?
In it.
It's such a mad little happenstance.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's a big reference for me. I loved Jim Carrey when I was growing up. All of his comedies were my bread and butter. As soon as I saw the move in this, the claw, I was like, it's fucking Liar Liar. It's what they do in Liar Liar. And then to hear that, it's got a roundabout way. It was used as reference to that move. And then the mum in fucking Liar Liar is the mum in this. Which
That's an amazing fact. If someone tried to baptise me as an adult with their hand, I would simply step back.
Yeah.
I would just move back. They couldn't grip the full weight of a human being if they just stepped back.
For me,
Yeah.
as a finishing move, a finishing move as a concept in wrestling, it baffles me. Like, you're on the floor and you're just lying there for 30 seconds while The Rock runs back and forth over the ropes, he does a little dance and slams his elbow. Just get up. Just get up. Or the choke. When they get choke slammed, they just pause. Like, the finishing move is something that I've never really understood. But in this film, when they use the claw, they grab the head, your whole body's still there to just fucking throw fists and feet.
Yeah.
Why just let him do it?
Because
if you're coming at me with a claw on the head, I'm not just going to go, oh shit, he's got my head.
I suppose it's
Doesn't
like
make sense.
it's like theatre though, isn't it? You need people with strong, big features, hence like a bigger nose, bigger chin, so the character's more alive on stage. A big hand coming down like the hand of God. It needs to be all over dramatic because it's not real, it's not competitive. It's but yeah, the squeezy hand on the forehead.
Yeah.
That's like having a finishing move, Chinese burn.
Yeah. It makes no
Can you
sense.
say that anymore? I don't think you can say Chinese burn anymore.
Why not?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because you put a country before a kid's act of trying to hurt someone.
So let's rebrand it. Twisty arm burn.
Polynesian burn.
Isn't that still a race?
Twisty arm?
Yeah.
Twisty arm burn.
Twister arm.
Okay.
Go with that. What did you like about the Iron Claw?
Harris Dickinson, Jeremy Allen White, and Stanley Simons stole the film for me.
Ooh.
Their wrestling names should have been Calm and Collected, Ticking Time Bomb, and Artistic Solitude.
Oh, I like that.
Brilliantly defined roles and enigmatic performances. So I found all three of them had very, very unique, defined characters.
Yeah.
They all had a very unique character. One was very arty and he wasn't into it. And you've got the leader in Harris Dickinson, who's like the biggest. He's not the eldest brother because that's Zac Efron's part, but he's sort of the lead brother in my opinion. And then you've got Kerry, who's the sort of loose cannon.
Yeah.
And they were all really defined nicely. And I really believed their love for each other as brothers. I did for Zac Efron as well. But I found Zac Efron's like hair and physique slightly distracting.
I do know what you mean. My thoughts on this is I I liked Zac Efron's performance in this because he's the one that I've always been a bit unsure of. I know I like Harris Dickinson, and what I've seen of Jeremy Allen White, I've liked of him as well.
He's brilliant in The Bear.
And the youngest brother, Stanley Simons, I liked him in this as well. But for me, my favourite performance probably was Zac Efron, because it's the first film where I was like, oh, you've actually got something more about you.
It's his best performance.
I think so.
It is his best performance.
I mean, he was quite good as Ted Bundy in that really independent Bundy film that came out a few years ago.
Just wasn't a good film, though, in my opinion.
Yeah, his performance, buoyanced a pretty bang average film.
Yeah,
but
the only reason he distracts me, though, is because his height didn't suit his physique, and it's similar to what you're saying in the facts. Like I looked at him, I saw canned meat covered in elastic bands, but his performance was his best to date.
I think so. He put everything into it. And if you'll allow me, I'll jump on the bandwagon with you. Yeah, so it is, what I liked about it is physical performances. Like I mentioned, I find Zac Efron to be quite hit and miss. But I thought he and the rest of the Von Erich brothers were superb in their respective roles. These sibling wrestlers demanded that each actor portray fiercely competitive yet profoundly vulnerable characters. And I think that the physical commitment of each one, of all of them really, deserves huge praise. I really liked how they had an immensely strong bond that helped them deal with an emotionally manipulative father and a blindly religious mother. Zac Efron, Jeremy Allen White, Harris Dickinson and Stanley Simons were all excellent, and I look forward to see what Dickinson and Allen White in particular do next. Now, like you said, for a film to be focused on four brothers that are kind of fighting this tyrant of a father, it's really important that you buy into their chemistry. You buy into that they're an allied force. They love each other, and it seeps through, doesn't it? That love, it's really believable, that chemistry.
Well, I can jump on the back of yours now, because my second light is I love the relationship between the brothers. I really felt their love, and I didn't want it to end. That opening 30-40 minutes before some tragedy strikes, I'm really into how close they are. They're a lovely little nucleus that are keeping themselves safe from that parasite that is their dad. They want to please him, but at the same time they actually know how to protect each other. Like the younger brother, who's more of a musician, he's not really into the wrestling. They say he can't go and play this gig one night. So his brothers, such a nostalgic story. They take him out the house and they take him to the party, and the songs he plays are wonderful. I was sitting there listening, I thought, I'd buy these songs. Who songs these?
I looked into that, because I was like, is this an absolute bop from the past?
A dutty bop?
It is not. It was a dutty bop created for this film.
See, that I adore.
Yeah, fantastic.
And I don't know what it was, man, but a part of me was like so attracted to Harris Dickinson's character. The cowboy hat, the long blonde hair, like how cool he was. They love a beer and stuff, but they're deep down, they're athlete. I was attracted to how professional but fun he is, like the best boss. Yeah.
No, I get what you're saying, and I found that a really interesting element about the film, because normally when you're watching a family that they've got a really sort of repressive father figure, you sort of see an act of rebellion and doing all they can to break free of those shackles, but in this they kind of worked as a team to keep their dad happy, to keep him appeased, but still were strong enough to sort of explore each other's interests and flag up their independent interests and be supportive of that alongside pleasing daddy. And I found that really interesting. I mean, the fact that this is a true story is fucking bonkers. It is madness what happens.
It is crazy. Last Like was just how effective the film is. It's showing how bad parenting can come across as nurturing, or it can come across as supportive, or they're doing what's best for you, and it's not always the case. It can be the absolute opposite. It can be so damaging.
This is criminal parenting. You are going to risk your life to get a fake belt for a fake sport. Sorry, wrestling fans, but that's how I see it. I says it as I sees it. And the fact that this guy loses all of his sons basically in this pursuit is mad. It's take your foot off the gas, mate. You've got very morally conscious, physically strong, proud, fiercely independent sons. If they don't want to win your fucking poxy heavyweight title, be proud at the fact that they are independent, strong men.
But even more odd is that it wasn't in a competitive sport. It wasn't so Kerry, for instance, is a junior world champion at discus throwing. They all were really had high potential to be in, say, the NFL or something. They could have been real athletes in real sports. But he's we have to bring a belt into this family. I'm in a show where the winner is 4-4. Where it's predetermined.
I mean, yeah.
That is insane that he covets something that is hollow.
I think the film does a good... I completely agree with you, but the film does a good job in sort of highlighting the fact that it's like Zac Efron's character says within the film, it's like any job. You work for promotions. So if you work hard in this, you perform well. If the audience likes you, you get promoted. And the final promotion is winning that belt. So explained in that terms, I can kind of get it. But equally,
yeah, you're right.
They are putting all these bodies on the line, doing these really big stunts, because that's basically what they are. If they're predetermined, they're stunts. It's not sport where a game scenario is playing itself out. Yeah,
there is risk.
Of course it is, but to have a script behind it and it is a storyline, it's like, why are you so fierce on getting this? And I just think it's really troubling when a parent is like, I have this dream, I haven't been able to fulfill it, so I expect my spawn, my offspring, to go and get that dream. That's fucking bonkers. Let them be their own person. It's madness.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose you get people like Cena and The Rock, and they become good actors, and you've got to say to yourself, well, why have they become a good sort of action comedy actor? And it's because, well, they've been essentially in a drama school of sorts. Yeah. But they're just tonk.
Exactly. They're doing macho man acting week in, week out.
I can't hear Macho Man and not hear the song. Macho Man. Oh, come on. Take our shirts off.
Yeah, let's get
Take our shirts off. Let's show our pale tits.
Hey.
With our big pink areolas.
They are juicy. Talking of juicy, the thing I most liked about this film was a heavy-hitting family drama. The Iron Claw is based on a mad true story that continuously packed a punch. I found myself gripped by a subject matter that I have less than zero interest in, and was hooked by a plot that got steadily more substantial and shocking as the story progressed. The Iron Claw offered genuinely interesting insight into how entertainment wrestlers view an industry that is often mocked by most, and I found the deep dive into a sport that is more soap opera than genuine competitiveness fascinating. Combine this perspective with a frankly fucked up family obsessed with fake fame and a self-proclaimed curse, and you have a film that firmly grabbed my attention.
Hey.
It's all of that for
Very
me.
nice.
Like, there's some really decent artistic moments in a directing sense as well. Like we've already mentioned, the performances of everyone involved were strong and captivating. And yeah, the storyline, it's like, it just got madder and madder. We spoke about that in our last episode on Santa Sangre, how the film just builds up in surrealism and absurdity. It does this hit in this film, but that actually happened. And that's fucking mad to me.
Yeah, a lot of people call it the Von Erich curse. I don't believe in curses.
I think, yeah. I mean, if you think that there is a curse on your family, why would you be so active in trying to get your family to do something where there's risk involved?
Well, that's the thing. He's the common denominator. He is the dad of all these boys. But it's worth noting that a brother that you don't see in the film until there's like a heaven sort of episode towards the end, Jack Jr., who was the first ever born Von Erich son, died, touched an electrical pole thing, got electrocuted, fell in snow and drowned in the puddle when he was 6. So he could have been the precursor for the dads and mums' offish behaviour for their next sons, all of their next sons. There were 6 boys in total.
So do you think they bulk bred because of what happened to their first one?
She was just so highly fertile, and I think he looked at her like a steer would a cow. You know?
The way McCallany plays it feels that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, I love seeing him in stuff, you know. To think that man had such a small role in Fight Club, and then one day we got gifted Bill Tench, and it just goes to show you how much untapped talent there is out there.
Well. Mm-hmm. Guess what my third like is?
Well, we're just in sync, huh?
We're Vibe Tribe. Yeah, Holt McCallany. Mr. McCallany's turn as heavyweight title-obsessed head honcho instantly joins the ranks of most detestable daddy figures in film. The character is dodgy, deluded and damaging, but Holt performs it so well. Ever since Mindhunter, I find myself thrilled when I see him on screen, and I hope this performance gets the alpha of alpha dogs more meaty roles. I thought Toxic Tench was played to perfection by an actor that deserves many, many more roles. So exactly mirrored what you've just said. I think he's fantastic.
Come take care of Mama Precious. Is he up there with Mama Precious?
I'd say Mama Pressure is Premier League, but I would say Toxic Tench is probably fighting for promotion in the Championship.
Yeah, he's just an old school dad, isn't he? He's just strict.
He's an emotionally unavailable man's man, angry dad type figure. I mean, the fact that he ranks his sons is fucking wild. I mean, there's something to be said. That's probably what gives them the drive to go on and do what they do.
Yeah, but it could also divide them, which it doesn't. It brings them close together, which is a beautiful insight into them as people.
Imagine.
But the mum's not warm. So where have they found this amazing moral sort of nucleus that I mentioned earlier?
I guess in times of like struggle and peril, you find warmth and sort of relief wherever you can.
Like rats.
Well, yeah, whether that's like comedy, whether that's exercise, whether that's the drink, the drugs. If you're surrounded by misery, you're going to dig your claws into anything that alleviates from that. And maybe them being brothers.
That's the image quote.
Oh, meta. What didn't you like about the film?
Chris Von Erich. So the youngest Von Erich brother, Chris, is not included in the movie The Iron Claw because director Sean Durkin felt that his story would add to the story's imbalance. Well, Sean, you've gone 8.5 yards and made your film less comprehensive for something that could have easily been included. It's a disservice to the overall what the fuck factor of this tragic family. There is another brother who dies, kills himself. And he's not included in the film.
So just to clarify, this isn't the one that the babby that got electrocuted.
No, there's 6 brothers. The babby is the eldest and dies when he's 6, and the others didn't really know him. Then you've got Kevin, David, I think, then Kerry.
Yeah.
Or it might have been the musical brother, then Kerry.
Mm.
Yeah, but then the second youngest, Chris, died as well. It's Chris Von Erich. There's 6 brothers.
I wonder if it's a simple case if he wasn't involved in the wrestling side of things.
Was.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, but,
so
but he had another little sub-catastrophe going on himself. He had brittle bones and bad asthma, but he did get involved in the wrestling. Oh. I just thought, you've gone all this way to do a biographic about one of the craziest wrestling families ever, one of the craziest stories outside of wrestling. It's mad. It's a mad story. And you've left this one brother out, and I disagree with him on is it the approach. He didn't have to be a full character. Like, he could have been a bit more like the musical son, a bit more not front and center. Yeah, you'd see it all through Kevin, but just include that last brother and complete your story.
I mean, it's so strange for a director and a film project to like leave a really important part out instead of adding to it. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes when they're basing a film on a true story, they add stuff to it to make it more entertaining, to fluff it up. If you're talking about a really traumatic, almost cursed family going through this mad sort of roller coaster of deaths and stuff because of one father's obsession, why wouldn't you include the son that also falls victim to this?
Yeah, he said it will add to the story's imbalance, like there's already an imbalance. And I'm like, no, it can't possibly, because you've almost finished it. You're almost there. If you just include that last brother, you've given an insight into one of the craziest pieces of celebrity drama ever.
Yeah, but if you're going so hard in telling a true story, you include all of it, whether or not it imbalances your film or not. If that's what happened and you're trying to give a fairly true depiction of real events, then you have to include that, especially when that part of that story is inclusive of what the other brothers went through. Mm-hmm. Like, it's another tragedy in this story, this cursed story, a story where the head of the family believes they're cursed. That leans into that curse, and to leave him out, it feels a little bit disrespectful. That's
how I looked at it. I thought, unless there is some sort of taboo subject the family didn't want out there, because Kevin's still alive and his kids are still alive and they've become wrestlers, and the Von Erich family is still a wrestling family.
See that, but then you've got to think to yourself, why would the family be okay at telling all of this and not that part? Unless it was that son had the brittle bones and the asthma, maybe he was really unwell and they didn't want to, like, I don't know, maybe tarnish the reputation of someone that they maybe saw, as lack of a better term, like the runt of the litter. Maybe they wanted to leave him out.
Maybe he still looked like a specimen in the family photos.
Did he?
Yeah.
Still a tonk can of spam.
Yeah, covered in elastic bands.
Yeah. It's a weird one. Yeah, I don't understand that.
It's a weird one. Second dislike, it's not even competitive wrestling, so why lose a leg over it or ignore blood coming out of your bum for a belt that is determined before you even step in the ring?
Yeah.
It's so illogical. To aspire to win something, it's staged, and that's why I hate Papa Von Erich so much, because the aspirations for his kids are laughable. It's not boxing or track. It's characters and scripts.
I mean, you're not wrong, and bum blood is bad all the time.
All the time. There's never a time when I look and I'm like, oh, that's all right.
No, and listener, if you're out there and experience bum blood, get it looked at like immediately.
Yeah.
It's no joke. But it is kind of a joke in this film that they're sacrificing all these big things for a sport that, you know, I know millions of people love it, and I know that it's popular for a reason. I personally don't buy into that reason. It's not for me. It's not my cup of tea. I can't look past the fact that it's scripted. Like, I don't think I could sit and watch 38 games in a Premier League season if I knew that the scores and results were predetermined. I'd be like, what's the point? If I want drama, I'll watch a drama film. I'm watching sport. I'm watching competitive sport. I find that entertaining. You have a rough idea of who should win and who should lose, but it's not a given. Entertainment wrestling is scripted.
Yeah.
There is a result. He's going to win. She's going to win. They're going to win. They're going to lose. The fact that they sacrificed so much, a big family sacrificed so much for something that isn't real is baffling.
I asked AI, I said, is wrestling fake or real? And it came back with this. Scripted. Wrestling matches are scripted and choreographed, and the outcome is often predetermined. Entertainment. Wrestling is presented as entertainment-based performance theatre, not a true contest. Physical toll. Wrestlers endure a physical toll, and moves can put them at a risk of injury or death if not performed correctly. Storylines. Storylines are predetermined, and tension between fighters is carefully designed over time. Scripts. Wrestling scripts include background information, audience preparation, and backstage segments. I was just like, it's not worth dying over.
It ain't.
It's not.
It ain't. And what is wrestling if not the AI of sport?
Oh, shizzles me doos.
Yeah.
Shizzles me doos. And I just have one little thing I want to add to the end of that.
Onto your shizzle me dudes.
It just made me laugh when I thought about it. I thought Vince McMahon is Putin's brother, I swear. They're both head of a fake democracy, both stage coups, both ride horses bareback, both had face surgery. They should meet up and have some deep fried caviar. That's all I have.
I mean, I'd watch that film.
Yeah.
I'd watch that film all day, every day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've got wrestling as one of my dislikes as well, and I won't go into it in any more depth because I think it's been covered by us both. But it is that, isn't it? It's hard, as fascinating as this story is, and as well made. I think this film is personally. I think it's a really, really well established,
Very well made,
well created, well thought out, put together film. Like, everything works really, but when you get to the nucleus of it, when you get to the meat of it, and it's all for wrestling, I struggle to look past. Like, you've got to weigh risk up with reward, and in this, it's not even risk. It's trauma. It's heartache against the reward of like a fake belt.
Yeah.
And a dad's obsession with it. It's like, I mean, it does make a fascinating story. If this was about a family and they were all like mad on American football, and we heard that a couple of them died because of complications with concussions or killed themselves.
Well, that speaks to a bigger problem in sports when they talk about head injury, don't they?
Of course, exactly that. And I'm not saying that I would argue that even American football, a more established sport, I don't think it's worth dying over that either.
No.
Or football, or any sport, any form of entertainment, acting, anything, it's not worth dying over.
Luckily, it's a rarity.
But I think that's probably what makes this film so fascinating, is that all of this tragedy happened to something like entertainment wrestling. Like, that's the reason for it, and it's fucking mad.
Yeah, because it's not even the same as the wrestling in Mickey Rourke's The Wrestler, which is, you know, they hit each other on heads with balls of nails in. There's a lot of blood involved. That's the really gritty backstreet wrestling, but it's still predetermined.
Yeah.
Both fascinating films, both enjoyed them, but I cannot wrap my head around the love of wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, as a fully grown man, I find it so cringy.
Is it just TV without the TV, though? Like, is it going to watch a soap?
Yeah, but I mean, you're not seeing Dot Cotton and Pauline Fowler in leotards climbing on top of a rope doing a little swanton bomb because they've had an argument over a cup of tea. I mean, I would watch that. I would buy good money tickets to go and watch that.
Good money tickets.
I would buy good money tickets.
Oasis price tickets.
Yeah, I would watch that.
We love Glow as well, so we for some reason we do enjoy watching films about wrestling.
But I think the commitment, the world around entertainment wrestling is fascinating because it's so alien to me. I don't get it. I understand the likes of Ronaldo and Messi dedicating their life to become the best footballers they can be. They're generational talents, some of the greatest players of all time. I get that because I love the sport, and I suppose that there are people out there that are as passionate about entertainment wrestling as I am about football, and they would probably argue with me and give loads of reasons why they love it. But for me, I saw it on telly a few few months back, and I was like, I used to love wrestling.
Games were amazing.
Oh, I loved the games. Yeah, the games were great fun. But I used to actually watch the Royal Rumbles back in the early 2000s and stuff. I used to watch it and think like, even then I knew it was fake, but I found it entertaining. I watch it now and I'm like, what? It's so fake.
SmackDown PS1.
Yeah, classic.
What's the one aspect that you probably share with me that we hate the most about football, though, and it is relatable?
Simulation.
Well, the feigning of injuries and diving. Yeah. It's the most detestable part of football.
Exactly. And then seeing this, for me, I don't get it. But I know that some people do get it and really, really love it. So I'd be interested in like an actual wrestler lover, what they think of a film like The Iron Claw, because it shows it for all its dirt, doesn't it? It exposes it for what it is. And I think that if you're not a hardened wrestling fan, you would look at this and be like, what are you doing? A man is basically sacrificing his whole family for this sport that most people deem as a little bit silly.
Well, when you get a spare 5 minutes and the audience, go and read about the dark underbelly of wrestling. Look at how many suicides there are in professional wrestling and drug use and steroid use. Like, the suicide rate in wrestling is out of this world. It's shocking.
You heard of Chris Benoit, right?
Chris Benoit, yeah. Didn't he go off and kill his wife, walk off into a desert?
He went and he was doing his wrestling. I remember his special move, the crippler crossface.
Oh.
Yeah. I used to like Chris Benoit, little stocky bulldog of a dude.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently too many steroids. Deeply, deeply depressed man, obviously put on a facade, a performance on camera, went home, killed his wife, killed his kids, killed himself.
So there is something very rotten at the heart of wrestling, where because the suicide rate is so high.
But I not to try and psychoanalyze it, but I'm gonna. Like, if you think about it, you've got these professionals, like they say in the film, trying to fight for promotion, putting their body on the line, working really hard, injuring themselves. They would injure themselves. They can't be 100% accurate all the time.
Breaks his ankle. Kerry broke his ankle 3 or 4 times, and that's why it gets amputated. It's not because he had a bike crash.
Oh, so they added that.
Well, they don't show you the bike crash, so you can get away with it.
Yeah.
He's on a loose cannon, but he loses his foot.
But I guess it's that. I guess you've got Chris Benoit. If I remember rightly, he never made it to the top. He was never world heavyweight. He won like Intercontinental and some tag teams and stuff. But imagine putting your body through that and never being able to get that top promotion. Imagine in any field of work, putting all your blood, sweat, tears, all your spare time into getting that promotion and constantly being told, no, you can't do it. No, you can't.
My dream as to be an actor, say, would have always to have been a character actor, a support actor.
Yeah.
I never would have been like, I'm going to top myself because I'm not the lead in Edge of Tomorrow.
But some people are that fragile.
I'm Chris Cooper in American Beauty, motherfucker.
And I'd much rather be Chris Cooper in American Beauty than fucking...
I'm David Thewlis in Kingdom of Heaven.
Yeah, you are.
I'm Will Dafoe.
In any Will Dafoe film.
Apparently it's pronounced Dafoe. Dafoe. Yeah, it is.
What the fuck?
Dafoe.
Dafoe.
He got filmed in drama school, saying his name before an audition. And he went Willem Dafoe.
Dafoe.
Yeah.
Maybe he's
really
saying
strange,
it
isn't it?
Maybe he's saying it wrong.
But he thought that. He did think that as well. He said, I was quite slow.
I love Dafoe.
My own name.
I love Dafoe. Any more dislikes for me, or are you done?
Just not taking responsibility for your children's well-being, and what a strange world where the opposite of neglect is actually more dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, nurturing's more damaging.
That's my image quote.
Yeah. Well, you've done it.
What a
and
strange world.
And if you're sitting there going, what's an image quote? I don't know what that is. If you follow us on Instagram, we do little quotes within the week of nice little things we do in an episode, and we're being quite meta today.
It's going to be more honest, more meta.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Maybe you'll appreciate it.
Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But the thing I didn't appreciate about this film was that it's a tragic tale of pleasing papa. Although I was gripped by the Iron Claw for the entirety of its runtime, I couldn't help but feel a little annoyed by the fact that a family was literally torn apart by a father who was obsessed with a fake belt for a fake sport. The fact that this is based on a true story is absolutely fucking wild, but at any point, the sons of Toxic Tench could have and should have walked away. I don't know how close to real events this film is, but it took Zac Efron's character, Kevin Von Erich, to witness a death, an amputation, and 2 suicides for him to be like, maybe daddy is wrong.
I'm going to tap out.
Maybe we aren't cursed. Maybe daddy is the curse.
Yeah.
But we've all covered it all, really. Like the fact that this is entertainment wrestling, the fact that they were so open to doing all of these mad things for Daddy, it's just a madness.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a madness, and everyone could have been saved if they just followed their own path.
Yeah, it's weird they're called Von Erich, because Von Erich it's a heel name. So he as his professional career, Fritz, he took on that of a Nazi, and his bad guy, he was a heel. He was called he adopted the name Von Erich. And it's weird because he becomes a Nazi by the way he grows his family. It's so strict. It's so fierce. Man took method acting well far.
Yes, he did. I play Nazi, I be Nazi. I'm going to cause the death of my sons.
Daniel Day Von Erich.
Yep. But fucking hell, yeah. I mean, there's certain elements of this film that is hard to look past, but thankfully it's so well made, in my opinion, that you are able to look past the madness of it and just appreciate it for what it is. Another thing I disliked, I mentioned it in the facts already, it's exaggerated Efron. As I said in my likes, I thought Mr. Efron was solid in this film. The fact that he is a 5'8" man playing a man over 6 foot is blatantly obvious throughout the film, and it feels like enough wasn't done to try and hide the fact that he is not a man over 6 foot. In the wrestling scenes, he is noticeably smaller than his opponents, and the scenes with his wife, he and Lily James are pretty much the same height. Lily James is clearly not 6'2" either. In the facts section, we learned that he filled a door frame to try and dupe the audience into believing he big boy, but he not big boy. And the fact these efforts to make him look taller aren't prevalent in the rest of the film felt like a glaring error.
But you don't hate small people.
I do not hate small peoples.
No.
I am engaged to a very small person, not a legally small person.
She looks like Brie from Mad Men.
I thought he was going to say she looks like Brie from the cheese shop, and I was going to be like, how dare you?
No, I don't know if she smells like Brie.
No, she doesn't smell, just to clarify, because she will be listening. She does not smell of Brie.
She has wonderful hair.
She does have thick, wonderful hair.
Is it Brie Larson? No, I'm thinking of the wrong actress.
Alison Brie. I think she'll take that.
Yeah.
I think she'll take that, yeah, all day long. I've got some questions. Which actors would you like to see play brothers on the big screen?
Dead or alive?
Whatever you feels.
Oh, if it was dead, well, at least one of them. I always thought Heath Ledger and Jason Gordon-Levitt had a very striking similarity to look at.
I sees it.
But one dead, so... Jesse Plemons and Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Did you know back in the day, Jesse Plemons, fuck me, I think I'm having a stroke. Jesse Plemons played a younger version of Matt Damon in a film.
Wait.
So Matt Damon was in the film as the lead.
Yeah.
It was slightly older. Jesse Plemons played Matt Damon's character, the younger version of.
Yes. See, that's great. That means I'm on the money.
You've won.
I'm on the money.
You have won. My answer was Anthony Starr and Bradley Cooper.
Anthony Starr.
Homelander from The Boys.
Oh.
They look so similar to me. They do. They do.
Homelander, I'd say Cooper's got a bigger schnoz.
But it's the jaw, and Anthony Starr's actually brown hair, so they do look quite similar. I think so anyway. And the other one, Harris Dickinson and Callum Turner. I think they look very similar.
Yeah, I think they could do that.
And I think they're both they've got big things waiting for them in terms of their acting career. And I think they'll both end up winning Oscars eventually. You heard it here first.
Adam never corrected me for months. So when we first saw the trailer for The Iron Claw, we was really into it. We saw a lot of good reviews on it. And for some reason, one of us mentioned Callum Turner as one of the brothers in it. And I just kept saying it. And he didn't correct me. And I think I said it in episodes. I went, looking forward to seeing The Iron Claw, Callum Turner, Harris Dickinson, Zac Efron.
And that is totally why I thought that they should play brothers. Because it's
in you, man.
Yeah, I mean, but to be fair, we've watched a few films with Harris Dickinson, and we've watched a few films with Callum Turner recently, and they've got a sort of passing similarity by the way they look. Both tall dudes, handsome dudes, British. Really well spoken British dudes. So,
both are definitely in the running. Maybe 10 years from now to be Bond.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I'd actually lean more towards Callum Turner for that.
Yeah,
I really would.
I feel Harris Dickinson's a bit too leggy for Bond.
No, Sean Connery was a big guy, 6'2".
Yeah, but he held it well.
What you said well? What?
He's stock. Sean's stock. Harris not as
Harris
much.
Looks all right in this.
Yeah, well, you fancied him apparently, so he's looking.
Kind of
right.
did, that sort of cowboy thing going on.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Hey, I grew up watching Young Guns.
What are you gonna do?
Well,
in the Iron Claw,
tell my wife probably.
Well, you probably should. That's a chat that you probably should be having. I'm having deep feelings about Harris.
Can you wear a cowboy hat, please, wife?
Yeah. Don't look at me. In the Iron Claw, Toxic Tench, a.k.a. Papa Wrong, a.k.a. Heavyweight Head Honcho, a.k.a. Fritz von Erich, ranks his sons in order of fatherly favouritism. How would you rank the actors based on their performances of the von Erich brothers?
Okay, the actors, it would be... So David first.
I fucked up so much in this episode.
That stays. Fuck off. Don't say it.
No,
Harris.
it stays.
Harris.
That was hurting me.
I love this relaxed.
It's hurting me. I had to release it.
Fucking hell! I saw your lunch. Okay.
It scratched an itch.
Harris Dickinson.
It scratched an itch.
All right. Harris Dickinson. I know what you mean by that as well. Very itchy arse and a fart rips. It's so sharp it cuts the
when
the itch
it wall
out.
bounces on its way out and you've got a little itch that you can't do. You can tell we're at the end of the season because we're conversing in gut now. Fucking hell.
Let me answer the question.
Yeah.
Can you ask the question once more?
Oh, I can taste it. Oh,
This is what happens.
a veiny spam. Right, go on.
Okay, Harris Dickinson,
Right.
Kerry, so Alan,
Jeremy Allen White.
Jeremy Allen White,
Okay.
then Simons,
Okay.
who played Mike, then Zach.
See, that is interesting.
You look a complete other way around.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
But I think first place Zac Efron for me because I've seen him in Ricky Stenicki and I didn't rate him in that. And there's been a few films I've seen him in, The Greatest Beer Run Ever, in the last
So
few
he's
films.
last for me.
No, but for me, he's first because in this film, I was actually quite impressed at seeing him being really quite established in the lead. Harris Dickinson in second because I not as much as you do, but I do love the man. I think he's great. Jeremy Allen White again. I thought they are all superb, and then last Stanley Simons. But Stanley Simons, you make a great point, is probably the most different out of those four in terms of character and personality. But if you think about it in terms of heavy lifting and how much he had to do, he probably did have the least. But fucking brilliant. I thought they were all brilliant. And I think, if even one of them had a bit of a shitty performance, I think the film wouldn't be as good. Yeah. Final question. Zac Efron sports a criminal haircut in this film.
Yeah.
What are your 3 top worst haircuts in film?
Affleck the Jewel.
Yeah.
Affleck Argo.
Yeah.
And Angelina Jolie Gone in 60 Seconds.
I don't remember her hair in Gone in 60
fuck
Seconds.
me. Blonde dreadlocks.
Oh.
It was just a 90s tragedy.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
So, Nick Cage in
any
Con
film.
Air.
Yeah.
Fucking mullet.
When he comes off that fucking
Receding
plane,
mullet.
Receding mullet isn't good on anyone.
Apparently,
not.
when they were considering him for Superman, the poster or the test poster that came out, it was him with his receding mullet. I'm like, fucking hell. That is not superheroes supposed to have strong jaws and like give off this air of charisma and goodwill. And Nick Cage looks like he comes in a public toilet after having a steak.
Wow. Yeah, no, I'd say you could just answer this question with any Nicolas Cage haircut, to be honest. He's not, hey, I don't have great hair. He doesn't have great hair. And, there's a lot of things people love about Cage. I'm not one of them, but yeah, his hair's not high on the ranking list, I don't think. I've gone with Will Ferrell as Mugatu in Zoolander. It's just ridiculous.
Intentional, no?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Intentional, brilliant. But it is,
Ocelot.
if I'm looking at objectively bad haircuts, that's up there.
Mm.
It's like half a poodle on his head. Like you, I've gone Affleck and The Last Duel, but also Damon in The Last Duel. Both of them really shit, awful hair.
I don't
What's
remember his
going
hair
on?
in The Duel.
It's another Ridley Scott madness. Like, I'm going to get American actors to play French people with British accents with ridiculous haircuts. It's like, choose one lane. So yeah, that's the other one. And Colin Farrell's hate crime of a comb over in Horrible Bosses.
Yeah.
Any comb over, like, let it go, man. Let it go. It's not worth it.
Some of the hair pieces in Bohemian Rhapsody were quite bit whiff.
Yeah, bit whiffy.
Bit whiff.
What would you rate the Iron Claw out of 10, please?
8.5.
Oh, you went high.
Well, of course.
So did I.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything not to really like about it, apart from the theme of wrestling, I suppose.
Yeah, other than the sort of abuse of children through obsession and strictness and favoritism and really toxic parents with religion and control and chasing their own dream. Yeah,
Yeah.
The film itself is a fucking great made film, and I think I wasn't aware of this, but this is the Sean Durkin's first film, isn't it?
I'm quite sure it's his.
Oh no, hang on.
It might be.
I think he had a film, but I don't know if it was a feature length, The Nest in 2020, but I don't know.
No idea.
I'm sure someone out there would, if they fucking listened, would tell us that we're wrong, but
This is definitely his first sort of star-studded cast, actually.
yeah. And, you know, I think he did a fucking good job. I've gone a little lower, just by 0.5. I've gone 8. And, yeah, really well-established film that I really enjoyed. And watching it a second time round, I took great value from it. What's the matter?
I think I'm smelling for it.
Well, that's what happens when we've got two bumholes conversing in a fucking air-restricted room. That's what's going to happen.
We're going to see the 10 next week.
We've only got 10 left, so what the fuck are we going to do? That gives the Iron Claw a total score of 16.5 out of 20. If you like your family dramas to be heavy-hitting, hard to believe and harsh on he-men, or if you've ever wanted to see a toxic tench teach his tonk tadpoles to mistreat themselves to triumph in a soap opera sport, then The Iron Claw could be a film for you.
Beautiful.
The Iron Claw is available to stream on Amazon Prime. Consider watching this one if you enjoyed The Wrestler, Foxcatcher, and Fighting with My Family. Should we play a game?
Give it a name, give it a name, give it a name now. We birth a plot and then make a trailer. What the plot?
Action! So this week, in my turn, done something a little bit different.
You sound very sincere.
Yeah, I thought I'd try and add an element of mystique.
That's kind of ASMR. You can keep
Yeah.
doing it, everyone. If you want to stick around till like 10:30, you can do that in my ear and I'll go to sleep.
Yeah, shall I put on a cowboy hat and pretend I'm Harris Dickinson as well?
Oh, leave it out, man.
Would that get you there?
No, leave it out.
So this week, I actually sent Harold a picture of the person that I want him to cast in this film.
You did? Is that her?
That is her.
Jesus.
This What the Plot is based on the true story of Nanny Doss. Known as the giggling granny for her eerily cheerful demeanour, Nanny Doss was secretly a serial killer who murdered 4 husbands, 2 children, 2 sisters, her mother, 2 grandsons, and her mother-in-law between the 1960s and the 1950s.
Bloody hell.
Poison was her weapon of choice, used in everything from moonshine to coffee to prunes and cakes to discreetly kill her unsuspecting victims. Doss often collected insurance money after their deaths, garnering sympathy from her community as a supposedly doting housewife who had endured much tragedy. However, her cover was blown when a suspicious doctor performed an autopsy on her final victim.
Wow. And what year was this?
She was prevalent in family killing from the 1920s all the way through to the 50s.
Autopsy then. So they must have tested for like the poisons in their blood and stuff, like come across like, it's high level of morphine or something.
What's baffling is that it took 4 husbands, 2 children, 2 sisters, her mum, 2 grandsons, and a mother-in-law before someone was like, hang on a minute. A lot of people in this woman's family is dying.
Well, if you believe in the Von Erichs, they might have believed in her. 1 husband, fair enough. Fair enough, we burned a bit. 2, suspect.
Well, even 2, well, that's unfortunate. 3, no, that's a pattern. 4, you're killing, man.
Pattern's the right word, and 3 is the number to become a serial killer.
Magic number.
3. That could be a good... We're done on the arse talking. 3 could be a good title for this. Only because of the due diligence we just did, because 3 is what determines a serial killer. But serial killer had not yet been coined by Robert Ressler.
And
who is Tench?
Swings and
It's
roundabouts.
so much.
Swings and roundabouts, baby.
We're in the tree with the nest.
Yes, we are. And if... So that...
I feel...
Let me quick math.
You math
4,
that, dog.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11... Nanny Doss, weren't no dosser when it came to killing.
She was dutty.
She was dutty dosser, deafing nearly a dozen people.
Deafing.
She was deading them up. So what you got? What you got?
Well, I find it really interesting because you showed me the photo and I said that looked like Margot Martindale.
Yeah.
But I didn't know it was going to be for a What the Plot. But Margot Martindale, not only does she look the spit of this woman, But she's a really good actor. She's in Dexter. She does a lot of series, but she was in Dexter. She was in The Watcher's Crazy Neighbour with old Bobby Cannavale. And do you know what? She's brilliant, but I don't think she's ever done her first time like a lead in a feature film. She could do this. She could play this serial killing nanny. Between the 20s and 60s. Well, who else was there? Did you mention other characters?
Well, the only other one I could see is potentially the medical professional, led to believe it's just a doctor. In my facts about this here, just a doctor. So the man or the woman, the doctor that turned around and decided was like, something ain't right here. But that's only if you want to. You could just go with the one casting of Nanny Doss. It's up to you. If you wanted to throw in an extra as a doctor who sniffed some suspicion.
But that's the thing. That would be a substantial character, the one who smells out that there's something untoward happening. But given the year, I don't think there would have been a lot of female doctors.
Yeah, unfortunately, no. And
otherwise, I'd go for like Jessica Chastain, because of her work on The Nurse with Redmayne.
If you are listening to this and you don't know of Nanny Doss, and you don't know of, I've forgotten her name.
Margot Martindale.
Margot Martindale. Yeah.
They same people.
If you want to give yourself a nice little treat, Google Nanny Doss and then Google Margot Martindale, because it's an exceptional piece of casting, good sir.
Yeah,
Done well there.
Thank you.
And I think she would smash it. And she is kind of creepy in The Watcher. She's definitely got that air to her. And apparently Nanny Doss was like really well known for being like sickly sweet, like really like eerily cheerful demeanor is what they've said in this. Ooh. So like,
it's a fascinating character.
Yeah.
I'd love that. I'd love to watch that. I would love to watch that.
I mean, the nickname as well, Giggling Granny.
That's great. I mean, it's up there with the Green River Killer.
Yeah.
And the Laughing Clown.
Giggling Granny. Ugh.
I'm trying to think of support cast for this, because you would need doctor would be cool, or a detective that works through the doctor to get the sort of prognosis. The she's a killer. Oh, do you know what?
Go on.
I might. Oh no, because I think it's the years that are throwing me off. Because I was thinking woman, then I was thinking Denzel Washington because of his work in Bone Collector and how good he is at being analytical and like chasing down killers and stuff. I'm going to leave it uncasted.
Okay, yeah, so you're just going with Margot Martindale.
Yeah, because it would be like watching, say, Dahmer or Bundy. They're the lead, they're the main. Everyone else can be of a lesser caliber.
That I completely agree. If you was to have this film and it was what I believe would be Margot Martindale's first lead role, I could be wrong. You wouldn't want a Denzel or a Jessica Chastain taking away what should be about this terrifying woman. So you're right.
Little indie sort of true story horror. In the guise of Dahmer
with Warwick Davis.
Warwick Davis could be the poison.
You could be one of the grandchildren,
mate.
Hang on, in the last episode you said you wanted to have his arm, so I'm allowed to say he could play a grandchild.
All right. For titles, when you started talking, I was thinking Under the Knife until you said poison. I thought it doesn't work.
No.
Then I thought Scrub that, as in Scrubs, but I thought it was 20s and 60s.
Yeah.
Don't think they scrubbed. I don't think they washed their hands.
No.
Then I thought Euphocrasia instead of euthanasia. And I thought, but that's a bit of a modern play on words that wouldn't really reflect it. So the last one I got to was Drink Your Coffee.
Oh, drink your coffee, darling.
Or as you say to me when you're trying to get my heart rate up because you need me to have the same coffee intake as you, drink your medicine, Dad.
Take your medicine.
That's what you say.
Take your medicine, Dad.
Take your medicine, Dad?
I mean, did she kill her dad? She killed fucking everyone else.
But I call my wife Mum because my daughter calls her Mum. I go, Mum, what's for dinner? Or Mum, what do you want for dinner? And she's my wife. It's not because I did things with my mum.
No one's saying that, dude. You're just digging for no damn reason.
I kind of want to say drink your medicine, Dad.
But that makes no sense. Well, drink your medicine. Take your medicine.
Nah, that's too on the nose. Drink your coffee.
Drink your coffee. And who's directing the dog? And then wrap it up.
I haven't even thought of a director. Oh, God. I haven't thought of a director.
It's got
Who directed House that Jack Built?
Lars von Trier.
I hate that guy, but I might give him a swing at this.
Give him a swing with Drink Your Coffee.
I might give him a swing, but he has no say in the script at all. You keep your hands off the script, but use some of that weird sort of directing
Yeah.
skill you used in House at Jackville. I might go Von Trier.
He is a director that tries to shock. He wants people talking about the absurdity, the just the disgusting nature of his films. He wants that. He wants the scandal. And I think a story, you hear about serial killers. It's quite rare that it would be an old deer killing her own family and being sickly sweet. Like, that's haunting, isn't it? Like saying that she was known for her eerily cheerful demeanour.
Yeah.
That positive. So I think that's actually a really good shout with Lars von Trier.
Von Trier is good at delivering Prozac through screen to people.
Yeah.
Like, the man is literally... No, he's not an antidepressant. He's a depressant, but he's like telling the world it's okay to be depressed at how fucked we all are.
Yeah.
Guy's a nut job. So I'd have Lars von Trier directing, Margot Martindale starring, and I'd call it Drink Your Coffee.
That's why your attitude stinks. Derek, I've made you your favorite pie. Come and eat your pie, Derek.
Starring Margot Martindale.
Oh, hello, kids. It's so lovely for you to come round for dinner. I've made a feast for you all. You can take some home with you as well. All your favorites are there.
Directed by the King of Depression, Lars von Trier.
Oh, my last husband really liked this pie. I can make you a different one if you don't like it. I like to make pie for people that I love.
Drink Your Coffee. Coming soon.
Drink your coffee, dear.